Hey guys, welcome to the Rusty Beauty's garage and to the 1971 Frankencar TR6. It took us a few episodes to fix the front end, which we had to take off and put back on because it was replaced by someone, but not very well, so we had to redo it kind of, but we did it. Then we went on the right side, on the passenger side in North America, not in England, the passenger side, and we replaced the seal there. And then we came on the back of the car and we fixed some rust that the valance had, and we straightened this area of the tail light, which was also damaged. So now what's left to be done on the car is this seal, which we need to replace, and we have to go underneath and fix a little spot on the hole on the frame and reinforce the differential mounts. And after that, inside there are some gussets and some supports in front of the gas tank, which have been ripped for some reason. I think they took the gas tank out forward instead of backwards from the boot. Anyway, of course there's little things. We have to weld these gussets as well, and I'm keeping these off for now until I fix both seals and we deal with these gaps, because I don't really like the gaps. We took some time in the second episode, I believe, of the series, and we adjusted the body on the frame, we shimmed it properly and all that, but at some point we had the gaps good, but I didn't like the fact that I had 3 shims here at the back, which is way too much, and it makes the frame stick down of the valance too much. So I removed one shim and now the gaps are not great. Plus, I think as I'm using the lift here, the body keeps flexing and it's not great. We'll see that at the end when we put the wheels on and we put it back on the ground. If this gap closes a little bit, this means that the frame is flexing, but I'm pretty sure it does, because this gap was okay this side and now it is big. So anyways, we're gonna deal with that probably in another episode. In this episode, I think we're gonna start with the seal. I'm not gonna show you a lot of the work, because I've shown in detail how I replaced the right one. The left side, we're gonna do pretty much the same thing. Again, I'm gonna show you a little bit here and there what I'm doing. I'm gonna give you some updates, but I'm not gonna show you everything in detail. So without further ado, let's get crack-a-lacking. So to begin with, I'm gonna probably put the wheel on, drop the car down on the ground so it is on its own wheels. We'll see how much this gap is gonna close, and then we're gonna put the brace here, just like on the other side. You see the brace on the door. We're gonna put the other one on this door so it doesn't move a lot when we take the seal off, even though we're not gonna take the whole seal off, but we're gonna cut part of it. But we still want to make sure that we're keeping the rigidity of the car here. And then I'm gonna take the fenders off and I'm gonna cut off the seal right away. Before we do that though, I'm gonna mark here where these steps line up right now, because we didn't do that on the other side. And then I had to put the seal back on, and you see this one can move backwards a little bit. Actually, we have a big gap there and no gap here, so we can put the new seal a little bit further back. But yeah, again, I'm gonna do that all on my own, and I'll bring you here for an update later. Okay, yeah, you see the gap became much smaller now that it is on the ground. I mean, it's still a little bit bigger at the top, but that's how we left it actually, after we removed the third shim from there and we put a washer instead with 2.5 shims. That's how it was, but when it is lifted in the air, it's much wider at the top, which is telling me that the frame flexes. It's normal. the frames always flex a little bit. I have cars here that come, and when I jack them up, I can't close the doors anymore. But I have other cars that I work on which don't have that issue. We jack them up and the doors continue to open and close. So at the end, I'm guessing when we're done with everything, I'm guessing we're gonna take the body one more time off, and we're gonna see what we can do with the frame, if we can reinforce it somehow, because I don't know. We're gonna analyze it and see where it flexes. Even the other side, which is braced even, this is telling me that my braces don't work very well, but even this gap now became like pretty good. It is exactly where we left it before when we removed the shim. And just the other day when I finished repairing the Sill, the gap was super big at the top, and I was really concerned about that. But again, the car was in the air. So yeah, we're gonna have to deal with the frame at the end, but today let's deal with that Sill on that side. Okay. So the whole side is now stripped, and we can see more of the same. Looks exactly the same as the passenger side. I mean, let's start from the back here. I removed some of this undercoating so we can inspect better these edges here, because this is an area known for rust, and we inspected it from inside, but I wanted to see from the outside as well, and it is nice and solid. This car has been very well preserved. If it wasn't into an accident, it was gonna be, well, still was gonna need seals. I don't know why the seals are rusted. Anyway, removed a big blob of something, whatever it is called, from here, and it is nice and solid here as well. Here, that's the exact same hole as the one we had on the other side, so we're gonna weld that. We're gonna tap this down and we're gonna weld it, but it's solid. Other than that, went and checked the bottoms of the B post and the A post just in case, because these are also known to be rusting, but they're good, except of the front of this one, exactly as on the other side. So we're gonna have to replace a piece here. I don't know, this corner here, on the other side, this corner was bad. This one is not, but we might need to take it off to weld that. We'll see, to be able to cut this out. Or, I don't know, we'll see how we're gonna cut this out. The seal here is good. On the other side there was a hole here, but I think we don't need to replace anything here. But we'll see what it looks like inside when we cut it off, because we're gonna cut this shell out now. Somebody told me on the other side, on the new seals, there's an indent here, just like here. There's an indent somewhere here, and on the old ones there's no such thing. Somebody told me that there was one on the old one on the other side, but I don't see it here. Anyway, I'm gonna straighten this, and I think we're just gonna cut it, even though it is pitted here, I think we're gonna cut it just right next to the cup, and we're gonna weld some of these pits so we don't need to remove the cup, because the cup is like brand new. Again, we're gonna inspect everything from inside as well when we cut the seal off. I didn't bother needle scaling anything here because yeah, because of that. Anyway, I'm gonna cut this off now. Again, I'm gonna mark here before I cut it off, and let's see what it looks like inside. So, same thing here. Exactly the same picture. I cleaned it up. I removed that flange from the bottom and I cleaned up the bottom edge so I can figure out what to do. There's more to be repaired on the floor drop than what we repaired on the other side. I mean, more holes that we created as we wiggled that flange to take it out. Here they snapped out nicely, but there they were holding for dear life there. So anyway, I'm gonna go around and repair this. At the end I'm gonna have to actually cut and weld a patch because I ripped a whole area, and we're gonna paint it. Oh, I wanted to show you the inside here. It's not bad. And this is what the Sill looks inside. Alright, so I'm gonna repair all that, I'm gonna paint it, and then we're gonna start trimming the new piece. Alright, it's repaired here where I ripped the piece, and all the little holes at the bottom are welded now and ground down. And I also applied some rust converter, and while it is doing its magic, we're gonna start fitting the new Sill. This one should be easier than the other side because we don't have that step that we made on the other side. We just have pretty much straight line, so let's try that. So let's see if we can get it done relatively fast. Okay, so I trimmed it, like just eyeballed it, how wide I want this to be, and maybe it's a little bit too wide, but it's definitely not narrower than I want it to be. And I put the Sill on, and it's held with two tacks, one here and one there. We're gonna have to take it out again, but clamps won't work. Like I had it clamped here, but this is gonna be in my way for the fender to put on, because that's the next step. We need to put the fenders on. So the other tack is here. I need to grind this a little bit, might be in my way. Here, if you can see, this is where the mark is for this step, and I put the mark right against where the peak of this corner is, I think. But we wanted to move the step a little bit back, if you remember, so that's why I positioned it this way. It's the same here. You see, I'm like probably an 8 back from the mark. So next is we're gonna put the fenders on and the door, I guess, and we're gonna figure out whether we need to go more in or stay where we are. We can still trim more, we can't expand it. Well, if we have to, we can make the gap bigger, but I hope not to. And just wanted to show you this as well. Look at the bottom flange here, how wide it is. Compared to the other side, it's huge. We're gonna have to trim it down at some point. But look at that. Let's take something. Okay, you see when I put it in the corner here, how much it sticks out of this. Let's put it in the other side. Look at that. We never trimmed this. I mean, this flange was this long to begin with, and these are two Sills that came as a pair. Look at that. And in the front here, we didn't have enough to cover the floor drop, and here we're gonna have more than enough. So I don't know. Now when I think about it, maybe we should go with the other side later at the end and weld. I mean, never paid attention to that, but maybe we can weld the strip, take the fender out, weld the strip, grind it. I don't know. Okay, I started assembling the fenders and the door, but halfway through I stopped because I think I'm gonna go backwards now because I am pretty satisfied with how this fits. I mean, you see, nice no step here, no step there. So anywhere further in the sill goes, it's gonna be a problem because we can't go with the fender in anymore, because you see it is hitting here. That's the limit of the fender, so that's where the sill needs to be as far as in and out is concerned. And same here. Well, for here we're not sure, because for the position of the fender depends on the door, how far in or out the door is going to be. So that's why we need the door as well, because the fender lines up with the door and then the sill lines up with the fender. That's how we gonna do it. But I realized another issue here. You see now the sill is much lower than the fender, and the old sill was matching the fender here. There we are okay. And I mean, both fenders are as far up and down as they can go. This is lined up here and this is lined up here, so we can't go higher or lower with the fenders. That's where they're gonna be. So somehow the sill needs to match. And I think what's going on here is, you see here the sill is lower, there it is higher, and here it is matching. But if you look at the old, what's remaining from the old sill here it is pretty horizontal, here it's pointing down, and there it's also pointing down. So I think what we're gonna do, like I can push the center down. Well, they are overlapping a little bit now, it appears. So what I'm gonna do is, first of all, I'm gonna take a tiny blade and I'm gonna run it everywhere here, so we're gonna end up with a gap like this or like this, but at least it's gonna be consistent everywhere. And then look, I think I'm gonna remove the fenders again, I'm gonna remove the sill again, and I'm gonna straighten this flange. I'm gonna point it up, like maybe with this tool or with just hammer and dolly, and we're gonna raise it a little bit in the front end and the rear end. The center should stay where it is right now, but again, that's why I don't want them to overlap anywhere. I want them to be floating freely, so I can adjust the height of the sill. And then we're gonna assemble everything again, and maybe this time, before we assemble it, we might paint everything. I haven't painted anything yet inside, but maybe we can paint everything, so next time we assemble it, we're gonna be able to tuck it in place and then just weld it without having to remove it anymore. So 2 steps forward, 1 backwards. At least the weather allows me to open the door today, which is fantastic. It's 16 degrees Celsius and it is just love it. We had like 3-4 days of rain, freezing rain, even snowed yesterday. It was crazy, but now I hope it's gonna dry out soon. Okay, so everything is trimmed to the proper size and painted. The seal is painted as well, and I straightened this flange. I test fitted somewhat the seal, and I think it worked pretty well. And but we're gonna adjust it as we are, once we tuck it in place again and start lining it up. But that's gonna happen after it dries. While it's drying though, I'm gonna repair this corner here, which I cut. I didn't show you before, but I cut this. So now we have to fabricate a piece and weld it. All right, everything is assembled with pliers and with clamps and tacks here and there, but everything is where it's gonna be, and I'm pretty happy now with the seal, how it lines up here. I mean, they're different colors. Maybe I should spray it black here so I can see it better. Now you can't see it at all. Yeah, it's even worse now. Anyway, it's I think it is satisfactory. No steps here and here. The door lines up with the fender, so that's where the fender is gonna be. And this one lines up pretty well here. So I think we're good. The only thing that I haven't done yet is the bottom. That needs to be raised up a little bit, but I don't want to do that until I tack the seal everywhere. So you see now it has only 2-3 tacks. I don't want to push it up now because that might raise it here as well. So I'm gonna tack it everywhere, and once this is done, then I'm gonna go underneath, and with my transmission jack again, I'm gonna push it up and clamp it to the correct height, and then we're gonna do a few spot welds there, or plug welds, and we're gonna be good to go. So yay! After spending half an hour again putting doors and fenders on, I'm gonna take them off again and start tacking the seal more permanently. Okay, now that it dried, it is easier to see it, I think. There's still a little bit of a height difference, but for so much, there's no room for the seal to go any further up because it's hitting the fender right here, and it's just gonna push it out. If we could unfold a little bit these two bends here, it's gonna be better, but you know, we're not gonna bother that much. I think that's pretty good. There you go. It is all welded. It took me a while. It's the end of the day. The door's closed. Like, when you do so much welding and you have to skip back and forth, so it takes forever. And now, tomorrow, when I come back to grind it, it's gonna take probably twice or thrice as much to grind it nicely. But good news is that only here in this area, and the plug welds underneath will need to be ground perfectly. Here, for example, and over there, nobody cares. I mean, I can just run the grinder on top just to get rid of a super high spot, but I don't need to make it invisible, you know. Here, this one is repaired as well. So the only place that I still need to make a patch for is here. So I'm going inside because it's time for dinner and beer, but tomorrow I will be back freshly recharged, and I'm gonna start with the grinding. All right, so it's all ground down. It took hours, believe me. It's the next day. It's all ground down now, including the bottom, and looks not too bad. I mean, full disclosure, there are waves here and there. It's not perfectly smooth, but we never expected that. Here, like I said, we didn't spend too much time grinding it. It's not necessary. I ground here. Even this is not going to be seen too much, but behind the fender, you know, you can look and see. So that's where I cleaned. So now what's left here is this repair. I'm gonna make it and weld it, and then we can put back the fenders and the door, and we can go under the car to fix the differential mounts, and there's a hole on the frame. Oh, here I wanted to show you, this hole was welded as well. It was in a really hard spot, but I was able to build with weld, and it looks good now. So let me repair that and I'll bring you back. Okay, this patch is finished as well. Not gonna grind it, even inside. Look, I just painted the other side. I don't know whether I should grind it or not, but there's a piece of carpet there, you know, and I don't think it's needed to be ground inside. So here the whole repair primed or primered, because somebody was complaining that I don't primer things and I don't show them in primer for whatever reason. Okay, and now I said that I was gonna put the fenders and the door on, but you know what? Next I'm gonna have to do the differential mounts, like I said, and I think without the fender here and without the wheel I'm gonna have more light, so I'm not gonna put the fender on yet. We're gonna do it in the next video, and this one we're gonna finish here because it is Saturday morning and I don't have anything else to show you. That's how much work I've done in the last few days. I had to deal with some other things at home. It's not a very exciting video because, well, what we've done here, we already showed it on the other side. So it's the same thing kind of over and over again, but it is what it is. I don't plan my work according to the videos that I need to post. I make my videos based on what I currently have in the shop and what I'm doing. So sometimes it is a repetitive job. Anyways, that's gonna be everything for today, guys. In the next video, we're gonna go under and we're gonna deal with the differential, like I said, the differential mounts, and then we'll see what we're gonna do with the frame. I was looking at this here, and look, I want to be able to fix these gaps, and I know now I have the brace here, so it shouldn't, so the body shouldn't flex a lot, but I just went to test something and look at that. What do you think is moving, the body or the frame? For me, it looks like the frame is moving, not the body. So doesn't matter how many shims we put there, that's always gonna push the frame down instead of the body, and it is normal because the frame from here all the way to there, there's no other support. So what do you expect? Such a long arm, it's gonna flex always. Anyways, we're gonna look at that. Maybe in the next video we're gonna put my laser level here, and we're probably gonna remove this brace from here, and we will see what flexes, the body or the frame. But for me, to me, it looks like the frame is flexing, which in this case, there's nothing that we can do to adjust this gap with those shims. We might remove even the other extra ones and just leave one there as per the spec. And then we should deal with this only, because raising the body here and lowering it here is gonna do, and it's gonna close this gap. So I don't know. We'll see that. That's gonna be in the next episode or after that. I don't know. For now, we're gonna end it here because it's Saturday morning and I wanna post a video, and I'm literally filming this half an hour before I upload the videos. So it is fresh footage for you. So have a nice weekend, guys. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.